Daily Trust News Center. This is the News Hour.
Tonight on News Hour, bandits attack Maru local government area of Zamfara state, kill 3. Police parade killer of 58-year-old woman murdered in Gombe state. Kano State Governor presents 358 billion naira 2024 budget to House of Assembly. And away from Nigeria, Israeli forces kill 4 Palestinians in occupied West Bank. Hello and welcome to the News Hour on Trust TV. I am Ayuba Ila. Thanks for joining. We begin with security matters. Bandits have attacked the Nasarawa area in Maru town, the headquarters of Maru local government area of Zamfara state. The bandits in large numbers stormed the area in the early hours of Friday, shooting sporadically to scare residents. Reports say the troops of Operation Hadarin Daji responded swiftly to a distress call by residents and engaged the terrorists in a heavy gun duel that lasted for over 2 hours. 3 persons were reportedly killed, including an aged man identified as Malam Isa. On Thursday, the defense headquarters said the troops have eliminated more than 100 terrorists in airstrikes carried out by the Nigerian Air Force on the border between Niger and Zamfara state. We now have joining us live for updates, Yushao Adamu, our correspondent there. Thank you so much for joining us on the News Hour tonight.
Thank you, Malayu.
All right. So, Yushao, what else can you tell us about this recent attack so far?
Well, the Maru is gradually becoming a battleground between bandits and security agencies, particularly within this week. You know, this is the second attack within this week. The first was on Tuesday. They attacked the palace of the emir, and today they returned and attempted to also attack the palace. But many people are linking this persistent attack to the change of leadership. People that are following the activities that is happening there can attest to this, because sometimes in June 2019, the people of Maru staged a peaceful protest accusing the then Emir Alhaji Abubakar Chika and district head of Kanoma Alhaji Lawal Ahmad of being involved in the activities of banditry and cattle rustling. Following their protest, the then governor of Zamfara state constituted a high-powered committee headed by the former Inspector General of Police, Alhaji MD Abubakar. And at the end of its investigation, the committee found the duo of Emir and the then Emir and former district head of Kanoma wanting. That's what led to their removal. So at that time, the bandits show their sympathy to the former Emir. And that is why many people are linking this persistent attack to that event. And what people are after now is the deployment of many security personnel to the area. Because presently there is a base of soldiers that are direct opposite to the Federal College of Education, Maru. But unfortunately, these bandits continue to have attacked the town of Maru and some major towns around, including Dansado. Even Dansado was attacked a day before the first attack. So people are very much concerned about the recent development, and they are calling on government to deploy more security personnel to the area so that they can stop this series of attacks.
All right. Well, Yushao Adamu, thank you so much for joining us on the News Hour and for the update. We'll keep tab on this information.
Thank you so much.
All right. Now, staying with security matters, the police in Gombe have paraded the suspected killer of Aishatu Abubakar a 58-year-old woman who was brutally murdered in Gombe State. The suspect, Mustafa Adamu Isa, has confessed to have acted alone while committing the crime. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail reports.
This is Mustafa Adamu Isa, popularly known as Abbati, an 18-year-old suspected killer of Aishatu Abubakar, a resident of Jekadafari in Gombe Metropolis. The suspect allegedly killed the victim on the 20th of October 2023 at her residence in Jekadafari. According to police investigation, the suspect broke into the residence of the victim, who is his neighbor, claiming to be searching for a spanner she seized from him, but allegedly killed her after she asked him to leave.
The suspect mentioned above was arrested on October 22, 2023 at around 01:30 p.m. in connection to the case, following credible intelligence received by the investigative team, which was constituted by DC Operations CP Hayat Usman on behalf of the command.
The 18-year-old, who initially mentioned one Idris Abubakar as his accomplice, later confessed to committing the crime alone.
I
really regretted my actions. I couldn't sleep since the incident happened. I am seeking for Allah's guidance. The command also arrested 8 other suspects over alleged kidnapping, culpable homicide, armed robbery, among others. According to the police, all the suspects will be charged to court. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
In a similar vein, police in Rivers State paraded a 24-year-old man, Damien Okoligwe, for the alleged murder and harvesting of organ of his girlfriend, Justina Otwene, aged 20 years old and 300 level biochemistry student of University of Port Harcourt. Lukam Abiodun reports that family of the deceased demands justice for the late Justina. The report.
Briefing journalists at the police headquarters, Moscow in Port Harcourt, Commissioner of Police in Rivers State, Emeka Nwoye, said operatives of Ozuoba Division received a complaint from neighbors of a very unpleasant odor, and upon arrival, detectives discovered that the suspect had killed the deceased and dismembered her body.
Back to the station and in the search of the fleeing suspect, who happens to be the boyfriend of the deceased, one Damien Okoligwe, male, 24 years, a petrochemical engineer and 400 level student of Uniport, and the boyfriend of the victim, also an occupant of the house. Now the prime suspect was traced.
The suspect, Damien Okoligwe, in an interview denied killing the deceased, Justina Nkang. Family member of late Justina Nkang is demanding justice.
It's not. I did not pack the body. It's not inside the Ghana mosque. Inside the big bag, and I did not do anything. I just carried the body like that, and put on the wheelbarrow. But I now left, and then came back. It's me. It's me. I was trying to dispose it because I thought anybody that see this thing now will not blame it on me.
After the training in the office where she was attached to on Friday, she was expected to come back home. But unfortunately, we didn't see her come back home. The story we got was that she was to attend the friend's party before coming back home. The friend later was the one who alerted the brother, the elder brother, that she didn't see her friend at the party.
The police commissioner said investigation is in progress at the State Criminal Investigation Department, advising young ladies to be cautious and careful in any form of relationship with the opposite sex.
The Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency says it is on a mission to crack down on drug dealers and users in Katsina State. But despite increase in arrests, both number of dealers and users is on the rise. Jamilu Mabai takes us on a journey through the streets of Katsina as the NDLEA battles the rising usage of cannabis sativa in the state. The report.
These are men from the Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, patrolling the streets of Katsina Metropolis in search of drug dealers and users. Not long enough, they make their first catch. A group of young men smoking cannabis sativa, also known as marijuana.
This is a house where dealers and users used to gather, sell the exhibit and smoke the exhibit. So now we are taking them to our office for further investigation. Whenever we get there, we investigate and remove the dealers and users among them.
Katsina State has been actively combating substance abuse for many years, with a reported 15% usage rate of marijuana.
Look at the age of the victims. It's just between 19, 18, 20.
Experts believe that youth restiveness and unemployment are significant contributing factors.
High rate of youth restiveness and unemployment in the state. 2, lack of policies and program that will engage our teeming youth in the state by the government. 3, it is all about judiciary, because you can arrest a dealer today and see him tomorrow.
Despite the agency's intensified efforts in arresting both dealers and users, the numbers continue to rise. Marijuana is typically smuggled illegally into Katsina, often originating from the southwestern parts of Nigeria. As night falls, the number of arrests increases.
I was inside a house where the place I enter the house, use the Indian hymn and smoke it. That is it.
For how long have you been smoking?
It's not long, almost 7 to 8 years.
Why are you smoking?
I just smoke it.
Do you need to go to rehab?
No. Yeah, I can quit it because I was not born with it.
Experts emphasize that both the judiciary and the community members have crucial roles to play in putting an end to the marijuana smoking in Katsina. Jamilu Mobay, Trust TV News, Katsina.
Now, on political matters, as Nigerians continue to react to Thursday's ruling of the Supreme Court, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, has urged members of the opposition to accept defeat and wait for their turn. The Speaker was among visitors to the presidential villa to congratulate President Bola Tinubu for the verdict, which affirmed him as the winner of the 2023 presidential election. Kende Amodu reports.
The response to the Supreme Court judgment has been loud. The voices of celebration by members of the ruling All Progressive Congress have not drowned out the sounds of protest from followers of the opposition. It is not surprising that all those coming to the presidential villa are celebrating and are pointing out that the litigation process has come to an end.
For the peace and stability of this country, all the judicial issue has been exhausted now, and it is now time for governance. And I believe that with the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President, the 8 cardinal points of Mr. President, I think this country has seen a renewed hope.
The law is the law, and it deals with the commonsensicals and logic. It's logic. What you say comes back to haunt you. What you present is the same thing. So these are people who are quite meticulous with the books. So they listen to your arguments, your presentations, and everything you do is accounted for. So at the end of the day, they say, this is our victory, and that is our victory, because logic is applied.
The theme running through all their messages is that this victory does not belong only to President Tinubu and the ruling APC, but to all Nigerians.
After this pronouncement, we have no excuse but to go back to business as usual, to go back and reset our agenda and see what we can be able to do for the people of Nigeria for the next 3.5 or 4 years. They should take heart. There is always one victor at a time. This is Asuaju's time.
I think it's now time for everyone to get together so that we can rebuild our country, rebuild the economy, support Mr. President, and I'm sure Mr. President will be more than happy to call on all those, even those who have taken him to court, to call on them to come and give their contributions, because as far as this country is concerned, we need everybody in order to move on.
The Supreme Court had on Thursday dismissed the appeals filed by the opposition People's Democratic Party and the Labour Party, as well as their candidates Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi. From State House Abuja, Kehinde Amudu, Trust TV News.
The federal government is calling on Nigerians and parties involved in the adjudication of the 2023 presidential election at the various courts to sheath their swords in the interest of unity and national development. The Minister of Information, Mohammed Idris, made the plea while briefing journalists on the heels of the Supreme Court verdict, affirming President Bola Tinubu as the legitimate winner of the 2023 presidential election. Trust TV's Sagir Ibrahim was there and now reports.
The minister, during his address, noted that Nigeria currently faces numerous challenges and called for support from across board to help revive the economy and other issues.
Now that the legal contest regarding the outcome of the presidential election is now behind us, it is time for all of us to come together and move forward into a season of governing that is without any form of distraction. Ladies and gentlemen, these are indeed challenging economic times, not just for Nigeria, but also for many countries around the world. And all hands must be on deck to tackle the challenges confronting us.
He also cautioned citizens to avoid heating up the polity through insightful statements. He re-echoed the need to remain patriotic and put the interest of Nigeria before individual interest.
It is pertinent that all of us come together again in the interest of our country. If we continue to hate the polity, if we continue to give Nigerians messages that appear not to be in the direction of uniting them, that is not going to be helpful for the country that we all desire.
He emphasized the need for subnational units such as state and the local government to key into the vision of the federal government for maximum results.
We will not abdicate our responsibilities as a federal government, but it is also important to explain that we cannot do it alone. State and local governments have very important roles to play, and this is why the President has an open door policy when it comes to engaging with the state governors. This is a joint venture. Issues of development cannot be left in the center alone. It is pertinent, and the President has always said that while the center drives the process, the subnationals also have critical roles to play in ensuring that good life return to their citizens.
The Information Minister pledged that the Tinubu-led administration will continue to strive towards ensuring that plans are put in place to address the economic situation of millions of Nigerians in the short, medium, and long term. Sagir Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Residents of Yola, the Adamawa state capital, are divided along party lines following the Supreme Court judgment affirming President Tinubu's victory in the 2023 presidential election. While members of the People's Democratic Party described the Apex Court's verdict as appalling and disappointing to Nigerians, loyalists of the All Progressives Congress, APC, said that the verdict is a victory for all Nigerians. Salis Lawan reports.
Reacting shortly after the Supreme Court judgment, some Yola residents said recent development in the nation's judiciary do not affirm the notion that the judiciary is the last hope of the common man. A member of the People's Democratic Party, Yakubu Jona, said Nigerians are still at a loss as to how the Supreme Court condoned the serious issues of forgery, falsehood, and perjury put forth by the petitioners in the case.
We don't agree with the judgment. It was not a fair judgment, and it is a wrong judgment because there are so many evidences that can disqualify the president, but we know he cannot be disqualified because he has spent a lot to the judiciary, he has spent a lot to the politicians, he has spent a lot to the security. This is for sure. We know that and nothing will come out of that judgment, so we expected it.
However, members of the All Progressive Congress welcomed the Supreme Court judgment.
So I think the court has done a lot, and given the state that they have to operate under a difficult atmosphere, it's yet another historic moment for us, and I think we should give the Nigerian judiciary another form of kudos. It was indeed a nice one.
We are very satisfied and we are happy. But we have to say one or two for him as the president. He have to know that as a president, he's not a president of APC alone. He is a president of any party member in Nigeria, and even people that are not partisan. And he has to be united, both south and east, and make sure he call all these aspirants that they have went to the court together and sat with them and call them so that to support him in making Nigeria forward.
They passionately appeal to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to seriously work on the economy to alleviate the sufferings of Nigerians.
But we hope he is going to change. Now that the judgment is over, he has no distraction now. No distraction at all. He should now consolidate. He should now focus on how to make Nigerians eat at least twice a day. People are going hungry. People are hanging themselves. People are dying of hunger. Small sickness, you go to the hospital, you just die. It's hunger. There is hunger in the country. You should address that. If you address that, the common man has no any problem.
Please, this our government have to look into it. We are buying dollar today 1,250 and still be increasing. So please, I call to the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He has to look for the common man, especially when you come, as I say, about that PMS price and that commodity, day-to-day activities, and this exchange rate. And let him be united, unite all Nigerians, and make sure we go as Nigeria one nation.
With the dust now settled, Nigerians are expectant that the APC-led federal government will focus on fixing the economy and addressing other challenges confronting Nigeria and Nigerians. Salis Lawan, Trust TV News, Yola.
Now, sacked member of the House of Representatives for Yola North, Yola South, Gire Federal Constituency, Mohammed Salihu, has refuted claims that the Court of Appeal has barred him from seeking or holding public office in the future. Mohammed Salihu, who also disagreed with the verdict of the court, says that the National Assembly needs to review judicial reforms to allow the Supreme Court have the final say on National Assembly litigations. Reflecting on the judgment, the former lawmaker called on the police to investigate claims of forgery to ascertain the facts of the matter and mitigate misinformation.
Again, the Court of Appeal refused to follow the Supreme Court judgment in Oyetola versus INEC in 2023. Ordinarily, from the above observations, Mr. Mohammed Salihu would have lodged an appeal at the Supreme Court if the 1999 Constitution permitted that, but unfortunately, he cannot seek redress at the Supreme Court. Therefore, we call on the National Assembly to set the machinery in motion to amend the Constitution to allow appeals in all election matters to end at the Supreme Court. Our confidence in the judiciary remains firm, but from the above observations in this judgment, it is clear that the Court of Appeal should not be allowed to be the final Court of Appeal in this kind of sensitive matters that has to do with the legitimate mandate of the people. To correct some wrong impressions that Mr. Mohammed Salihu was convicted or that he will not hold any public office again. No, Mr. Mohammed Salihu has not been convicted by the Court of Appeal, and the Court of Appeal did not bar him from holding any public office. This was an election matter and not a criminal case.
You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up shortly, we'll take a look at how school fees hike ignite withdrawal of school pupils in Borno. Details and more after the break.
As a demonstration of its commitment to provide sustained access to basic healthcare for all Nigerians, the federal government of Nigeria, through the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA, has established the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, BHCPF. The Basic Healthcare Provision Fund is designed to deploy operations fund directly to primary healthcare facilities in every political ward nationwide to ensure the availability of quality PHC services to all Nigerians, irrespective of where they live or work. The Basic Healthcare Provision Fund guarantees 24 hours availability of midwives, other health workers, and health supplies in at least one PHC in every political ward. Ask from your local government health department for the BHCPF PHC in your ward to get more information and benefit from the services. Think access to healthcare for all. Think universal health coverage. Think Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. This message is from the Federal Ministry of Health and National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA. For further inquiries, call the NPHCDA toll-free number 7722 or visit www.nphcda.gov.ng.
You are aware that some of your political opponents have alluded to your tenure in Ondo as something that was not democratic.
Of course, in big society, everybody cannot like you. There will be those who are undermining you and saying, even if you give the best of your performance, what you have done is to say you have satisfied your creator and the people. I bet you, in my memoirs, if I show you what General Babangida wrote when he visited us, was more than enough to prove that those people talking, they can talk. Because you can't lie to him. And I knew, because when I now went into full political activities, if I had been bad to them, they would never have allowed me.
Welcome back. This is the News Hour on Trust TV. Let's take a look at the top stories. Bandits attack Maru local government area of Zamfara state, Q3. Police parade killer of 58-year-old woman murdered in Gombe state. Now, entrepreneurs in Jigawa State say that they are struggling to pay their workers as a result of the harsh economy and occasioned by surging prices. They stated this while reacting to the falling value of the naira against foreign currencies, especially the dollar, in the forex market. Trust TV's Adamu Imam files in the report.
Some business operators induce a told Trust TV that small and medium enterprises are surviving the economic onslaught brought by the government's economic reforms through a systematic approach. They identify diminishing capital as one of the factors contributing to the harsh business environment in the country.
Economic issues, our business has not been flowing the way it's normally been. So as you can see before, if you come here, you come and see that we are doing a lot of work, but some days now, things have not been functioning the way it's supposed to be.
Like I run the restaurants, and I know it's not easy. Like I mean, before Boy left, we were buying things like, for instance, rice at 30-something thousand. Now it's like 60,000. Look at the fuel and everything. Like it's been really hard. All like other business, you can't just like the restaurant business, you can't just wake up and start increasing prices of food every day. You just get, so sometimes we run at loss, but then you just have to keep the business going.
According to them, they cannot maintain their workers' monthly obligations with the rising cost of food items in the market.
I have workers working here and I'm paying them, but due to the economic issue, we are not coping with them. We have to be doing percentage You pay based on percentage. You do, you get. You don't have, you don't have.
Because we have some family people, they can't wait until like end of the month. They have other, so this guy will get to pay them. Others can prefer us paying them monthly, others weekly. So
They, however, urge the authorities to explore ways of addressing the Naira's free fall as well as other economic challenges in order to stabilize the economy. Adami Imam, Trust TV News, Jigawa.
Elsewhere, the economic hardship experienced in the country has forced some Nigerians to withdraw their wards from school following an increment in fees. Trust TV's Bitrus Kuruti, who spoke to some parents in Maiduguri, said the current situation in the country is a struggle for survival for them first, while every other thing is secondary.
The purpose of being educated is to ensure personal and national development and also make for better citizens in the country. It is also to help people earn a living through decent jobs. Over time, there have been global calls to make education accessible and affordable for children. However, the present economic state of the country and the hike in school fees is making it difficult for some parents to further their children's education. Abiso Marti, a father of 6, says he couldn't afford the reviewed fees and as such decided to withdraw them from school. He stressed that the growing economic hardship leaves him no choice as feeding is becoming difficult for his family.
I
had to withdraw them from school because of the high cost of school fees. We can't pay it. We used the money to feed, and food commodities are very expensive now. They will learn handwork for now until things get better.
I have 2 children who are now staying at home. They cannot even go to public school because of the high cost of living. This sort of palliative they are doing is not even affecting. It's not going direct to the parents. What are they doing to reduce the school fees of the children? It will increase the dropout of our children out of school. We cannot even feed them. Talk less of taking them to school.
Ina da yara ne wanda suke makaranta su guda 6 ne. To school fees nasu ya je 20-something thousand, kaga 20-something.
Their school fees rose from 20,000 naira to over 30,000 naira. So I have to suspend their education for now because I don't make such kind of money at work. The situation is also similar in some unity schools in the country, as some parents admitted that they could not enroll their wards due to the hike of fees. Abiso and other parents are hoping that one day the economy will change for good to enable their children return to school and have a better future. Bitrus Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
The wave of security challenges continues to be a source of worry despite huge money spent by successive governments in Nigeria. In Benue State, residents say that one of the strategies that have worked in the past was the involvement of community in internal security. Jimmy Azandi reports.
The residents say introduction of vigilante groups to help the conventional security agencies in fighting criminal elements will bring positive results. This, they said, was a situation in most communities in the past.
Because they are people who are the indigenes, and so they know the problems, they know their terrain, they know who are the visitors, and they know who, even among community members who are, have criminal tendencies. So it's always good that, that level of security machinery, we know how best to handle security situations. And this will be more effective if they work hand in hand with the conventional security.
You can't just send somebody else to come and fish out a criminal in your area. Definitely, if the person comes, the people in the environment may either hide the person up or the person will run and hide it up. The people that are choosing within the same community who are the vigilante will do the job better. Why? Because they know them, they know who, they know where they can hide, and they know how and when they can arrest them.
Some residents said a thorough recruitment process is required to bring the right people on board.
But you see, in our state, you discover maybe because they are not well taken care of in terms of monthly stipends or salary, as the case may be, they turn to be they sometimes become nuisance in our communities. They exploit people as if, to me, I sometimes I feel they who are supposed to be guiding and protecting people at the rural communities turn to become the problem of our society, because you see them at night pretending to be our security, yet we have issues of criminality still going on within the community.
The Otom-led government introduced the community volunteer guards in its bid to upgrade security in the state. At the moment, the impact of the over 2,000 personnel is not felt in most Benue communities. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
The Nigerian Navy has flagged off Operation Sea Guardian as part of efforts to address maritime security. The exercise is aimed at tackling security threats within nation's maritime domain and around the Gulf of Guinea. The report.
The Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, who flagged off the exercise, said it would foster cooperation among the Central and the Eastern Naval Commands, who are collaborating to carry out the exercise. Represented by Rear Admiral Zakaria Mohammed, the Chief Training and Operations Officer at the Naval Headquarters, Ogala said at the end of the exercise, insecurity in the waterways would reduce to its minimum. Earlier, the flag officer commanding Central Naval Command, Omar Chugali, had warned criminals to stay away from the Nigerian maritime space.
The call to them is that zero tolerance to piracy, sea robbery, crude oil theft, and any other activity that is making the maritime environment unsafe. We are out for them, and definitely it is our mandate we must achieve.
Constantly, we check on ourselves, we police ourselves, and any erring officer is disciplined and taken out of the service accordingly. So we are doing our best to present the best foot forward in our deployments, both of personnel and of assets.
Chugali called on community leaders, youth and individuals where illegal refining is ongoing to collaborate with security agencies to curb crude oil theft in the Niger Delta region.
The deployment of new area controller of customs to Katsina State has rekindled hope in the minds of residents in border communities of the state. Residents of border communities in the state have suffered untold hardship in the hands of customs operatives in the past. Abdullahi Amadi reports.
Residents of border communities told the newly posted area controller of customs on formalization tour that they are beginning to see hope for mutual relationship and that the meeting between them and customs operatives should be sustained. We can see some kind of changes since the arrival of the newly posted customs boss. Our major hope is for the customs officers treat us as human beings. Don't forget, we have had situations where hundreds of residents are killed because of a single bag of rice or a single carton of spaghetti. The newly posted customs boss to Katsina State, Abubakar Umar, while addressing the border communities of Jibia Ramaji, Birnin Kuka, and Dankama, said his stay in the state will change the sour relationship between them and residents. The controller said the era of harassment and intimidations by customs personnel is over, calling on the border communities to assist in fine-tuning the relationship to bring peace and development to Katsina and Nigeria as a whole. He said ensuring peace, functional synergy between the customs officers and residents of border communities is key, besides revenue generation among its constitutional mandates.
We are not in Katsina State to jeopardize or to block their economic activities, but rather to open it. You understand? To refresh and then so they can pick up. So we made them know that their cultural products can move to anywhere within the state. What we don't want is for them to move it across. That's why there's border closure.
The controller, who is concerned about insecurity bedeviling some of the communities in the state, said his personnel, especially at Jibia Maji, Magamar Jibia, and on Jibia Katsina Road, only operate during daytime and asked residents to assist in changing the narratives. He also called on traditional institutions and other key stakeholders to assist the service in confronting its challenges, which will further boost the economic status of the state. Abdullahi Izuma Yamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Experts in Nigeria's town planning sector have said that with the threats of flooding across most states of the Federation, there is a need for an all-inclusive approach to address the menace that is threatening cities and real estate investments in the country. They stated this on the sidelines of the National Conference of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners held in Asaba, Delta State capital. Trust TV's Jonathan Awanyai has more.
Following the devastating effect of flooding in some parts of the country, experts urge government at all levels to enforce the law prohibiting the erection of structures along flood plains, adding that if people avoid erosion-prone areas, the global epidemic will be avoided. They opine that proactive measures should be put in place to battle challenges resulting from flooding in the country.
Benue River, Niger, let me be specific. If you go to Adamawa, the River Benue, the first incept of rainfall, you discover that the whole river will be what? Filled up because it is highly silted. We need to dredge our major rivers. Forget about the dams. Even our own local dams that we have, all of them are almost filled up with silt.
As the government or inquire from the planning authority, is there any drainage path within that area? What is the master plan? So that one will be able to guide you that place you should build or you should not build. Then at the same time, when you are constructing your drainage, you should be able to channel it to the government drainage system so that the idea of water being stagnant in your area will not occur.
To come up with a detailed plan for the cities on how to accommodate the excess water from rainfall. The way to do it is either to have conservation sites or to have large drainages that will convey the flood water from the city to the sea. You buy land, the first place to go is either to go to Ministry of Physical Planning. Let them chart that land for you, the survey plan, and tell you the status of the land. By that, you'll be guided whether to buy the land or not.
The flooding issue, normally it is human activities that have caused most of these things. The way we relate with the environment matters so much. By inculcating urban green economy into the concept of addressing most of these issues, the issue of flooding will be drastically reduced.
According to them, effective town planning remains an important tool in mitigating the challenges of flooding. Jonathan Awanyai, Trust TV News, Asaba.
Now, an informal university of tea exists in Zamfara State alongside formal universities that are known to be citadel of learning. At this university, there's no strike, no assignment, and no lectures, just tea and some other delicacies on the menu. Yushao Adam tells us more.
Unlike in the formal university, where education is being acquired in various fields of human endeavors, people come to the University of Tea for the purpose of refreshing themselves with a cup of hot tea. As the name implies, University of Tea specialized in serving interested customers with varieties of beverages and fast foods depending on customers' choice and affordability.
Wannan shayi wanda ake hada nan University of Tea karkashin jagorancin shi manajan director Sani to shayi ne wanda kana ya samu shi da kayayyakin da ke.
This tea that is being processed at the University of Tea contains nutritious ingredients that helps body. Ingredients like mint leaves helps in normalizing BP. Alhaji Sani is always conscious about the expiring dates of the milk he sold to customers, and he uses ginger and other ingredients based on doctor's advice so that the tea will not harm the customers. I and the entire members of my family patronize this tea.
Bisa ga wannan ne kaga iyalina suna da sha'awa da wannan shayi nashi, sannan ni ma ina da sha'awa saboda yana yin shi ne a matsayin magani.
Services at this informal university start as early as 6 a.m. and end at 12 a.m. daily, according to the founder and vice chancellor of the university, Alhaji Abdullahi Magawata. Approximately a total of 200 to 250 customers visit this university on daily basis, except on weekend days, where only 100 to 150 persons are said to be patronizing this institution for refreshment. It is said that at least 15 to 25 crates of eggs and 15 cartons of noodles are sold to customers at this institution every day. Here at the University of Tea, we serve our customers with varieties of beverages like tea and milk, tea and egg, Indomie and tea, Irish and plantain, Irish and egg, and Irish and liver. In the morning, we sometimes sell white rice and stew as well as masa to our customers. University of Tea has graduated over 50 students who mastered tea making for the purpose of business. Graduates of this informal university are conducting their businesses at 25 different locations within Gusau and the environs as faculties of the university. We don't have anything to say regards to these except prayers. We are proud of this place. From Abuja, Kaduna and Sokoto, we all have customers who send errands just to come and get this tea in a flask. At least I have spent 17 years taking tea here. The way we are used to living here, even in our houses, we don't live like we do here. It has been estimated that a total of 25 staff of the university are earning their living at this informal institution, while about 30 of others get theirs at its affiliates across the state metropolis. This tea is special to many people within and outside Gusau. I can remember when Alhaji Sani started this business at this place. God was so kind. He started with empowerment money he got during former President Obasanjo's regime. We are fully satisfied as we are constantly craving for it. As you can see, this is where, while the formal universities are producing millions of talents in various fields of human endeavors, the University of Tea is at least producing scores of self-reliant young men, thereby reducing unemployment and poverty in the state. Yusho Adamu, Trust TV, Gusau.
Perhaps you should then consider enrolling yourself into that university as well. Now, Kano State Governor Abba Kabir has presented 2024 budget to the State House of Assembly on Friday. The total budget size is 357,805,415,034 naira. The governor said that if approved, the budget is expected to address critical infrastructure need in the state. Governor Yusuf told the House that the total recurrent revenue is higher than that of the fiscal year 2023 by over 1 billion naira.
And value-added tax, the total recurrent revenue is higher than that of the fiscal year 2023 by 125 million, 1,178,804,703 naira.69 kobo, representing 59.75, averagely 60% increase.
The African Development Bank and its partners have voted $1 billion to fund special agro-industrial processing zones in 24 states of the nation. Other partners that voted for the money include the Islamic Development Bank and the International Fund for Agricultural Development. This was announced on Friday by the AFDB President Akinwumi Adesina at the Norman Borlaug International Dialogue World Food Prize 2023 in Des Moines, Iowa, United States of America. Vice President Kashim Shettima, who is attending the event in pursuance of the food security and diversification policy of the Tinubu administration, the AFDB president thanked Shettima and the president of Ethiopia, Saleh Work Zewde, for their participation in the global event, saying that their presence is an indication that Africa has the political will and is fully ready to tackle food insecurity and make hunger history on the continent. On the foreign scene, Israeli forces have killed 4 Palestinians during raids in the occupied West Bank as its war against the Hamas group in the Gaza Strip continues for 3 weeks. Israel has stepped up operations against Palestinian groups in the West Bank, killing many Palestinians and arresting hundreds. Israel says 1 soldier was killed in a clash during the raid on Friday. Hamas said one of its men was also killed during the Jenin fighting. At least 27 people have been killed after Hurricane Otis, one of the most powerful storms to ever hit Mexico, struck the Pacific Beach resort of Acapulco. Otis, with winds of 270 kilometers per hour, ripped roofs from homes and hotels, tore trees from the ground, and largely cut off communication and road links with the region. Some hospitals were forced to evacuate patients amid flooding that inundated streets and left cars submerged in a trail of wreckage across the city of nearly 900,000 people. Many of those killed were swept away in the overflowing rivers, according to authorities. 4 people remain missing. The government has not said how many were injured, but has declared a state of emergency in the region. In a matter of hours, Otis intensified from a tropical storm to the most powerful category of the 5-step Saffir-Simpson scale before hitting land, taking authorities by surprise.
Estaban las albercas bien bonitas. Mira cómo están.
Let's now take a look at some sports updates put together by Adeni Ajishafe.
African Soccer Governing Body (CAF) has sent information to Nigerian Football Federation and other qualified countries about the number of players registered for 2023 African Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire. Participating nations registered 28 players for last edition of the competition in Cameroon due to COVID-19. CAF made it clear that it has reversed its decision on the squad list, with each qualified nation to register 23 players for the 3rd consecutive time. 24 countries participate in the competition as 2023 edition kickoff on 13th January 2024 to 11th of February 2024. Nigeria champion Enyimba's quest in African Football League came to an end in Casablanca, Morocco, in a humiliating end in their push for a silverware in the 2023 AFL maiden edition. The People's Elephant were handed a crushing 3-0 defeat by Wydad Athletic Club in the quarter-final reverse fixture, with the Moroccans sealing their semi-final passage on a 4-0 aggregate, having won the first leg at the Nest of Champions Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo. Wydad were quicker off the block, racing to an early lead just 4 minutes after kickoff, with Ayub El Amoud hitting the back of the net from Yaya Jabran's setup 8 minutes past the half-hour mark. Jamal Hakas doubled the home side's lead with a finish on the dot of 38 minutes. Ated Allah pulled the eyes on the cake 2 minutes before the half-time whistle. as Wydad took a commanding 3-0 into the break, turning out late for Finidi George men, who equally beat the CAF Champions League a painful bye in the preliminary stage following a 4-3 aggregate defeat by Al Benghazi of Libya. Wydad Athletic Club will now face Esperance of Tunisia, who beat TP Mazembe of DR Congo in the other quarter-final fixture. Enyimba will shift their attention to Nigerian Premier Football League (NPFL). That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
And with that, we wrap up the news hour for tonight. In case you've missed, you can always catch up across all our social media platforms and also on our YouTube live stream. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.